Hey, what's up? It's Emilio DiSpirito, and this is the Wealth Architect Podcast. I'm so excited to be here with you each and every single week. My team and I have hand-selected our guests to come on the program to talk about how to build wealth financially, mentally, physically, spiritually, right? There's so much that goes into building a lifestyle full of wealth, and we hope that this content really reaches you, not only in your brain, but in your heart, and that you could do something with this. So thank you so much for tuning in. God bless you, and we're going to have a great show. Hey, a special thank you to our sponsor, Annie Mac Home Mortgage, whose Cash to Keys product is disrupting the industry. Sick and tired of finding the perfect home, not having your offer selected? I got to tell you, it happens all the time. With Cash to Keys, Annie Mac gives sellers a cash guarantee for each of their buyers' offers. Stop bidding and hoping. Instead, bid with Annie Mac and bid with confidence. Don't just bid, but win. Annie Mac Mortgage. If you're listening to this podcast, you either own or will own a home, a car, and need life insurance. That's why you should check out our friends over at Lapointe Insurance, LapointeINS.com. These guys are the best in the business. They can help you if you're in Rhode Island or Massachusetts. And let me tell you something, his dedicated team of professionals are there to assist you and meet you where you're at. You never feel like you're being sold. You felt like you're being helped. It's a family tradition over at Lapointe. Check them out, Lapointe Insurance. Welcome to the Wealth Architect Podcast. I'm Emilio DiSpirito. This is Season 2, Episode 2. We've got a great show for you today, some awesome guests. We're going to dig into some topics that are definitely going to help you build some wealth. And our first guest today is Ashley Tison. He's an attorney and he is a pro with Opportunity Zones, and he runs a company called OZPros. They focus specifically on advising folks through the Opportunity Zone process, which is going to be great to learn about. They've done more Opportunity Zone funds than anyone else in the country. And he's like the OZ Sherpa. Let me tell you something. He's going to lead you to the top of that mountain, and you're going to do well with him. So without further ado, Ashley, thanks so much for joining us on the Wealth Architect Podcast.
Well, thanks, Emilio. It's great to be a guest today. It's funny because, tax saving stuff can kind of be dry a little bit. And I think we're going to have some fun today because I am super fired up about helping people save money on taxes. It's a true passion of mine. I hate seeing people overpay money on taxes.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really excited about what I think is the greatest legislatively created tax incentive that was ever enacted.
Wow.
And we're going to run you through exactly what it is, how you do it. And that's what we do here. We actually help people make it happen. And otherwise it's just talk.
I love that fire. And, in Opportunity Zones, I'm sure save taxpayers billions of dollars every single year. And I know that there's a lot of new news with Opportunity Zones. That's why I was excited to have you on, because I think that this is one of many missed opportunities that property owners and entrepreneurs, they miss. So I'm so excited to have you on. I'm fired up too. So let's dive into it. So first off, let's just lead off with the basic, question. What is an opportunity zone and how does it reduce or eliminate capital gains taxes?
In the Tax Cut and Jobs Act of 2017, Congress wanted to incentivize people to move money out of the market and put it into underinvested areas. There were a bunch of areas that had kind of gotten completely bypassed by the rebound that had happened since the 2008 crisis and since the Great Recession.
Mm-hmm.
And so they came up with this program that incentivized people to take capital gains, see those capital gains, and then put them into these areas. And they did it through effectively three incentives. So you have to have capital gains,
Mm-hmm.
and then you take that capital gain and you put it into a qualified opportunity fund. Qualified opportunity fund can be really simple. It can be literally as simple as a LLC, tax as a partnership. You put your money into that fund within 180 days, and you get to defer the taxes on that capital gain until December 31st of 2026. Now, there were some extra incentives back that if you got your money in before 2019, you got a reduction when you went to pay the taxes,
Mm-hmm.
or 2021, you got a reduction as well. Those have since expired under OZ 1.0.
Mm-hmm.
We'll talk later on about OZ 2.0, which actually just got enacted. But right now, under the current rules, you still get the deferral up till December 31st, 2026. And then This is the big one. After you've held your investment in the fund for 10 years,
Mhm.
you get to exercise a step up in basis to fair market value when you transact on
Huge.
any asset that's owned by the qualified opportunity fund. And that step up in basis to fair market value is really powerful because it not only eliminates capital gains, but it also eliminates depreciation recapture. So if
Wow.
you're folks that are sophisticated, they know that depreciation is a really powerful benefit of real estate,
Sure
and
is.
it completely eliminates that kind of tax tail associated with recapture.
Well, I didn't realize that you get to keep the depreciation. So let's unpack that here because there's a couple questions that I'm going to have for you. I'm sure our listeners do too. Can you explain depreciation real quick and how that normally works with recapture?
So once again, this was part of the one big beautiful bill, is that we had bonus depreciation that allowed you to take up to 100% of certain assets that would have a shorter depreciation schedule than a traditional like real estate piece of property.
Yep.
So anything that's on what's called a MACRS, a modified accelerated cost recovery schedule, is eligible for bonus depreciation. Now that under the Tax Cut and Jobs Act it trickled down year over year. It went to 80, then it went to 60. This year it's 40.
Mm-hmm.
But when they passed the one big beautiful bill, they reenacted that 100% bonus depreciation. So anything that gets placed into service after January 19th of 2025 is now eligible for 100% depreciation. And so inside of a house, you could go in and do a cost segregation study where you segregate the cost associated with each element inside of the house into different depreciation schedules.
Mm-hmm.
Anything that's 15 years or younger or that's shorter, you can bonus depreciate. You can take it 100% in year one. Now, what happens though is that is still on a schedule. So like, let's use carpet for an example. That would have a 5-year MACRS.
Okay.
And so if you were to depreciate that, take 100% of the value of that carpet and write it off against your income, if you sell it before the 5 years, the IRS doesn't allow you to double dip, because bonus depreciation, you're effectively borrowing from your future tax self.
That's right.
And so if you sell before you've effectively repaid to your future tax self in the form of that MACRS schedule catching up, then you're going to recapture whatever portion has not caught up. So in the case of the carpet, if that was worth $10,000, you took that full 10 grand in year one,
Mm-hmm.
and then you sold in like year 3, you're going to have 3 years of that 5 years. And so you're going to recapture 2/5 of that aggregate amount as income.
Mm-hmm.
With the opportunity zones, if your fund investment is 10 years old, you get to take a step up in basis to fair market value. And the reason why you have depreciation recapture is because your basis hasn't caught back up to what you've originally taken down. So you've reduced your basis further.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you go to sell it, you then pay the difference between what your basis is and what you sold it for. And so in an opportunity zone transaction, you get to step that basis up to where they're equal. And so accordingly, there's no capital gain and there's no depreciation recapture. It's really powerful.
That's huge. And then the step up in basis is such a powerful thing too, because if you purchase something 10 years ago and you're going to sell it, and that property, let's just say, accumulated an additional $200,000-$300,000 in equity, now you're not paying the taxes on that difference, that's unbelievable. I love that.
Yeah. I mean, it's a big conversation right now relative to the massive amounts of inflation, which has caused the price of real estate to go significantly up.
Sure has.
And so there's tons of built up value inside of that. And as a result, people are paying a whole lot of taxes on the appreciation of that.
Mm-hmm.
Opportunity zones eliminate that risk.
Can somebody, all right, so if somebody is selling properties, okay, and they're using a 1031 exchange, can they use those 1031 exchange funds to purchase a property in an opportunity zone?
That's a great question,
Thank
Emilio.
you.
And the answer is it's complicated. Technically, no,
It's all
because
complicated.
you can either 1031, you can elect under section 1031
Yeah.
or elect under section 1400Z.
Okay.
They're basically two deferral strategies inside of the Internal Revenue Code.
Mm-hmm.
And so technically you can't do that. But I've had people who have gone into an opportunity zone program or property with 1031 proceeds unwittingly. And so they didn't know that they could elect under 1400Z. And so we've then been able to, especially if it's like raw land,
Yeah.
to be able to turn it into an opportunity zone project after the fact and still keep their money in the 1031. And so there's some overlay, particularly when you're doing development, between being able to use 1031 like for the actual dirt,
Yep.
and then 1400Z opportunity zone money for the vertical improvements.
Got
But
it.
it's a little bit complicated.
All right. So what if you're buying an existing building already that's sitting in an opportunity zone? How does that
Great
work?
question. So if it's an existing building, there's a requirement, because they wanted people to not just sit on stuff. There's a requirement that you actually improve it. So whatever the value of the building itself is, minus the land, you're going to have to improve it by that amount plus $1. So like, let's say that you bought $1 million property and the building's worth $600,000.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have to put another $600,001 into improving that property. And you've got to do it inside of a 30-month window.
Oh, wow.
Now you get to choose when that 30-month window starts, but you got to basically accomplish that substantial improvement inside of a 30-month window.
Wow. Okay. And then ultimately you have to hold it. Is it 10 years you have to hold it?
What's interesting is that you don't technically have to hold the asset 10 years, but you have to hold your investment in the fund for 10 years.
Okay.
And that's where opportunity zone funds and having an aged opportunity fund can get really powerful. Is that, let's say that you were to start a fund this year. So you started it in 2025.
Okay.
In 2035, your opportunity zone fund investment turns 10 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And let's say that you were able to bring in debt, right? You were able to refinance the stuff that you had bought over the next 10 years. And then you go and you buy a house in an opportunity zone, you substantially improve it, and you sell it in 2036 after you've held it for 367 days.
Mm-hmm.
You can depreciate that thing in totality and still get the step up in basis to fair market value and not pay any depreciation recapture or capital gains.
Yeah. That's fantastic. I see why you're all fired up about it. And for our listeners, you can check Ashley out on OZPros.com. Okay, the letter OZPros.com. Ashley, do you have any examples of any of this, like for our folks that are really visual? Because me, like I know, like this, I get most of it, okay? But I love to see an example. I love to see a visual. Do you have anything on your site, or could they reach out to you to get anything?
Absolutely. And we love to walk people through. So we've got a masterclass, and it's a free masterclass. So, and if you go to ozpros.com/podcast, we've got a special deal for your listeners.
Mm-hmm.
And so they can go to that landing page, and they're going to get access to the masterclass. They can also download our free opportunity zone cheat sheet, which is basically all of these rules on one page.
See, that's super helpful too, because this is an area that is so there's so many stipulations to it, and things have changed. The tax code always changes. I know with the big beautiful bill, there's new adjustments with this program, OZ 2.0, and this is, even as somebody in real estate, and I'm well versed, I'm learning a ton right now, Ashley. So thank you.
Sure. And so you can find this that's on our website. And, effectively what you got to do is you got to start with a capital gain. You got to drop that into a qualified opportunity fund. That cash then can get deployed either directly into opportunity zone property, or, and this is the great differentiator between this and 1031, is that you can put this into a operating business. And so it goes into a qualified opportunity zone business that you can then use to develop the property.
Are you kidding me? So can you buy existing businesses already and put the money into an existing business, or does that business have to be associated with the location or with real estate? Or are you saying you establish a business?
So you can start up a business inside of an opportunity zone. You could take a business, right, that's got its assets outside of the zone and move it into the zone. That would work. We've also actually been able to do it for folks who have their own business. We've been able to recapitalize it with money from their QOF, then move it into a zone. And we've been able to effectively make it so that the next 10 years of growth is completely tax-free.
Wow. Ashley, I need to get on that master class. I mean, there's so many opportunities I drop the ball on, and I'm like, oh no. So maybe like, so 1031 exchange has a reverse 1031. Is there a reverse opportunity zone fund?
That's a great question. And a lot of times, if you've bought a property in an opportunity zone in an LLC, particularly if it's a partnership, if you bought it in a partnership, I can usually turn that into a QOZB later on after you've bought it. So if you buy it in your own individual name and it's raw land, we can usually fix that if you're going to do 2.5x worth of improvements to it.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can have up to 30% of bad assets inside of your QOZB.
Mm-hmm.
And so as long as you're going to do 2.5x, then that gets you inside of that 30%. And so we can usually deal with that. If it's a single member LLC that you bought, when you bring in another partner, the IRS deems it like you have sold and then contributed the assets back.
Mm-hmm.
It gets a little bit more difficult. Once again, on raw land, we could probably deal with it. If it's an existing building, it gets a little bit tougher, but we can help a lot.
Is there a location somewhere around the United States that you have seen massively change, right? Some people may say gentrify, right? That was or is an opportunity zone, okay? Or opportunity zone 1.0 can probably give us some really great examples. Are you thinking of any particular area, town that you've seen just blow up and flourish because of this that we could use as an example?
Sure. There's so Huntsville, Alabama,
Huntsville, Alabama.
it's happened there. I know that they did a great job in Erie, Pennsylvania as well, where they really took advantage of the opportunity zones. I mean, one of the arguments that that kind of the naysayers had relative to this, that it was a program for the rich to get richer, is that a lot of the zones that got designated on the first one, because it was based on the 2010 census, a lot of those zones were probably going to get development anyhow.
Okay.
And so there were a lot of zones or a lot of projects that were probably going to get done anyhow and got a huge tax benefit. And so the OZ 2.0 legislation that got enacted with the One Big Beautiful Bill tightened up the requirements for the new zones that will get designated at the end part of 2026. It'll go into effect in 2027. There's an overlap, right? And so this is for the smart people here. There's a window of time for folks to be able to take advantage of those existing 1.0 tracks. So you can find all 8,700 of them on our website at ozpros.com/map. You can go and you can search that, right? Where you can type in an address and you can find out if it is inside of an opportunity zone under the 1.0 zones. So on this one, right, like I can share this one again.
What a great resource.
You see the zones right here. Everything that's in blue is an opportunity zone. So give me an address.
We're going to take it to Rhode Island. How about 247 Main Street, East Greenwich, Rhode Island? I'm sure it's not an opportunity zone. It's a wealthy area. Right. Boom, there's us. Not in an opportunity zone.
That is not in an opportunity zone. We can zoom out and we can see where the closest one is, which is over here at this spot right here.
West Warwick. Because that makes more sense.
It looks like there's some like waterfront over here.
Yeah. Yep. Those are old mills. There's a lot going on over there.
If you're in this area, you have until December 31st, 2028 to get a deal going inside of this zone. We'll be updating this map to where we'll be able to show the 2.0 zones as well. And so we'll have 1.0, we'll have 2.0, and so that way you can compare them once we get those zones out.
So we have a ton of real estate agents, a ton of real estate brokers, financial advisors, different types of, professionals that watch this podcast. All right. Like, how can we, or how can they differentiate themselves in the business by using opportunity zones, by linking up with someone like you that can walk them through it?
Once again, right? Like, it's a 30%, well, 23.8% differential between doing a regular deal versus an opportunity zone deal. So you can walk your clients through, and it generally aggregates out and averages out to be around a 3% bump on internal rate of return.
Okay.
3%.
3%. That's huge.
I mean, are you kidding me? Can you imagine, right? That literally just because you're going to do this program, you go from a 5 cap to an 8 cap.
And
That's
it's needed
unbelievable.
right now where the caps are down.
Exactly right. And so having at least the base knowledge to know if something's inside of a zone or not. So knowing where to find it, knowing where to identify it, and then knowing kind of the general parameters of that to say, okay, listen, because it's in a zone, right? That doesn't mean that it's natural gold mine, right? It means that, okay, we can now look at and we can evaluate whether or not this is going to be a doable deal as an OZ deal. That's the crucial piece. And we can teach them the fundamentals of that. So number one, we can teach them that. Number two, if they just want to use us as a resource and be able to refer clients over to us, say, hey, listen, I've got the OZ expert who can walk you through exactly how to do this deal.
That's right.
And so even if they're not confident in and of it themselves, we're here to walk alongside them.
That's amazing. So for our guests, okay, if you're just tuning in now, we have Ashley Tison. He's an attorney and he is the OZ, the Opportunity Zone Sherpa. He's built that reputation, okay? We're talking about how you can tap into the power of opportunity zones to bring your cap rate up about 3%, which is absolutely huge. Now, there's a lot to this. And Ashley, I wanted to ask you, can you give us an example of a client that you took on, you mentored, you walked them through the process and the success story that came of that?
I mean, we've got, so literally we've set up over almost 2,000 opportunity zone entities at this point. So I've got a client and it was her first development deal. Her family owned a piece of real estate down in Florida and they owned it for a long time. And they were going to build a self-storage facility on it.
Oh, those are huge.
So she figured out that it was in an opportunity zone, called us and was like, hey, how can I take advantage of this? And I said, well, because you've owned it for a while, we're going to have to do some maneuvering with it. So we're going to have to convey it in. We're going to have to treat it as a bad asset, but we're going to set this up. We're going to work with your SBA lender because she got an SBA loan to build the facility. And through the process, she stepped into like a complete different understanding relative to like taxable effect. And how she's like, because she was running her numbers on this and she's like, okay, if I were to have just done this deal, because she's doing a $10 million deal and it's probably going to triple in value by the time she sells it. Because the great thing is that you have to hold it 10 years, but you get to hold it 30 years. And so she's going to exit it on 1.0. You have to exit before 2047. So that's technically 20 years, but on 2.0, you get to hold it 30 years. And so she's looking at that and she's like, okay, I have to hold this 10 years, but I could hold it all the way till 2047. And realistically, it might even quadruple in value by then.
Sure.
And so normally, right, so that's going to go from a $10 million basis to potentially a $40 million asset. Normally, I'm going to have $30 million of capital gain, and I'm going to pay roughly $9 million in taxes on. So my net from that would be $31 million. But because I came to you and I walked through this program, I'm now going to put the full $40 million into my pocket. Whoa, wait, why didn't I know about this before? Right. And so that like realization, that I love it when that kicks in.
That's right. I mean, and you could see that like right off the get-go. When I was doing some digging, I'm in the process of purchasing a property. I found out it's in an opportunity zone. Looking in and doing just the preliminary type of research, I realized that this was a much bigger topic, which needed much more guidance than that. And that's why we reached out to you, Ashley, to have you come on the program, because I'm like, look, I'm in real estate full-time, 14 years. I'd consider myself an expert in real estate. I know little to nothing about opportunity zones, and I don't want to pretend to be that expert. I love the fact that we could contact you and your team at OZPros.com for that. So I suggest anybody that's interested in creating massive wealth through real estate, tap into that masterclass and really take advantage of that and all of the free tools that they have on their website. It's really fascinating.
Emilio, the property that you're looking at in OZ, does it have an existing structure on it?
It does. Yeah, it does.
What is it? Is it a single family or?
Basically, and I don't want to give away too much because it's still
Okay, yeah.
it's still under contract. I gotta close it, but basically, it's several apartments.
Perfect. So now the trick, and so this is one thing that people need to look at, and this is the reason why I was asking that question, is that if you're buying something that doesn't have a window of being able to get the substantial improvements done, then it can be tough to make the thing pencil.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're, and I've had people come to me, they're like, hey, listen, I'm buying a condo. One that I'm thinking about is in Puerto Rico. So they were buying a really nice condo in Puerto Rico. It's in an opportunity zone because 98% of the island of Puerto Rico is an opportunity zone. That date actually expires December 31st, 2026. So if you want to get in on Puerto Rico, you need to move fairly quickly.
And they got the 4% federal income tax act. What is that? Act 61, I think.
Act 60, yeah.
Act 60, yeah.
This person was like, hey, I'm buying this condo. It's $1 million condo. And like, what will I have to do? And I'm like, well, because we can't allocate a whole lot to the land on that, you're going to have to put in $1 million worth of improvements to that condo. And they're like, well, there's no way I can make that pencil out. And I'm like, exactly. So there's some things that don't work. Now, an apartment building, because I don't know what kind of improvements are necessary, but if you got to go in and redo bathrooms and kitchens in an apartment, realistically, you're probably going to get there relative to your substantial improvement threshold.
Driveways, everything. Yeah. It's a lot of work that's needed. So yeah, it could definitely happen. Now we kind of brushed upon some of this, Ashley, but what's the impact of the new OZ 2.0 legislation, and why should investors act before those key deadlines hit? Did we hit that with the map when we were talking about 1.0?
Well, I think that, so I can really unpack it, because I think that there's some nuances to the stuff that people need to be aware of. So the new zones will go into effect January 1st, 2027. And realistically, we should probably start to see the new zones popping out in like the latter part of 2026.
Okay.
So if you have real estate and you would like to see it become an opportunity zone, you need to get a hold of your governor's office and you need to figure out who's going to be involved with designating the zones, because every governor will get to designate up to 25% of their low-income census tracts. And so there's going to be this process happening in 2026. So that's the first step.
Wow, that's huge.
Second step, and I don't know who that would be for Rhode Island. I don't know. In North Carolina, it was the Department of Commerce, but get involved in that process, right? Learn about opportunity zones, learn about like what the requirements are and what would make a candidate. And if you're really interested in that, we can help out with that too.
Super interested, yeah.
So that's the first piece. Second piece is that when these new tracks go into to effect, there's going to be a window of time. So the zone 1 tracks expire in December 31st, 2028. The new zone goes into effect January 1st of 2027. So there's going to be a 2-year overlap. The new rules relative to like what the benefits are is that there's now a rolling 5-year deferral. So if you put your money into a fund, you get to defer the taxes for 5 years. And then when you pay those taxes, you get a 10% reduction if you've held for 5 years. And everybody's going to hold for 10 because you really want that step up in basis to fair market value.
Sure.
So that's going to still be on the 10-year window. But here's one of the great things, and this is the smart money. The generational creating wealth money is going to be putting these out there, and they're going to be looking at holding for 30 years. And so you have to hold for 10, you get to hold for 30.
Legacy,
exactly right. And so, tax-free compound interest, I think, is the 8th wonder of the world. And this is a way to set it up for your subsequent generations. The other kind of cool thing about opportunity zones is that from a valuation standpoint, going against your lifetime exemption amount, it goes in at what you put in, right? So if you put in $1 million into a fund, if you die while you're holding that fund, the only amount that goes against your estate is the $1 million that you put in, not what it's grown to as of the date that you die.
Wow.
So that's where this 30-year thing really gets value.
So it's transferable. So that could be transferable to your heirs or to your,
That's exactly right. And The great thing is that it transfers at your original basis amount, not the market value at the time. The other key piece is that on Opportunity Zones 2.0, there's a 30% reduction in taxes when you go to pay them 5 years out if you're in a rural Opportunity Zone fund. And rural is designated as that you have less than 50,000 people in a city. So a city with less than 50,000 people.
Quite a bit of America still.
Yes.
Huge chunk.
It really sets up, and where I think that the real value is here is that, so number one, it made it permanent. So this is going to happen every 10 years now where new zones get designated.
Oh, really?
Which that in and of itself makes this now a stalwart of estate planning, of, asset protection planning, of kind of general wealth management. Because if you can do a side-by-side deal and make an immediate 23.8% more, why would you not do the deal in the OZ?
It's huge. Absolutely huge.
Because of that permanence, I think that a lot more people are going to be utilizing this as part of their strategy and looking for a way to use it as a way to build that generational wealth.
This is not something that a lot of people, a lot of individuals, a lot of companies, a lot of people are really well versed in, though. I mean, you're not hearing a lot of chatter about opportunity zones, and I've been pretty shocked about that. So I'm excited to bring this here, and hopefully we get a couple people that are saying, wow, like this is huge, right? And I strongly suggest, if you're listening, you can reach out to OZPros.com, reach out to Ashley and his team over there, and check out some of the free tools. See if what you're buying could be in opportunity zones, or also learn more about this so you could take advantage of these incredible tax savings, and you can build that legacy of wealth, because that's what it's all about. That's why you're here. That's why we're here. Ashley, wonderful, wonderful stuff. Any closing remarks?
People ask me all the time, they're like, and it's interesting because people have this perception that opportunity zones are dead. And I regularly tell them, I'm like, not only are they not dead, but they just got way better. So they're like, well, man, but I should have set up my fund back in 2018. And I'm like, listen, it's like the old Chinese proverb. When was the best time to have planted a tree? 30 years ago. When's the second best time? Right now. And so the best time to start an opportunity zone fund, 2018. The second best time, right now. And it's a play to be able to take advantage of this stuff. There's also a discounting opportunity if you get your money in before 2026. Mm-hmm. If anybody's interested in that, it's a little bit complicated, but you either pay taxes on the value of your original gain or the value of your QOF investment at the time. So if you're under construction, you're going to get an immediate discount. And there's a way that we could potentially discount that up to 50% plus. Mm-hmm. And so you can significantly reduce your gains. So once again, the final parting words is, what are you waiting on? Get in the game.
Yeah, get in. You only know what you know, and it's good. I look at that as like, wow, all right, I learned something new. Let's jump in now. Let's not make the same mistake over, right? That could cost us even more. So good stuff. Ashley Tison, attorney and founder of OZPros. Catch him on OZPros.com. We're going to go ahead and post his social media everywhere. Follow him. Tune into his podcast. Fantastic guy, fantastic guest, and somebody you can trust to take you through that process. Ashley, I enjoyed having you on The Wealth Architect and hope to see you back here again.
Honor and a privilege, Emilio. Thanks for having me.
Feelings mutual. You're very welcome. Do you currently own an abundance of multifamily properties? Are you tired of working with property management companies that just continue to drop the ball and disappoint you? Why don't you start your own franchise? Go ahead and contact our friends at Nexus Property Management to see how their proprietary information and systems and marketing can work for you. The success that they have had all over the country is unbelievable. Check them out, Nexus Property Management, and go ahead and let them know you heard it here on The Wealth Architect. Welcome to the Wealth Architect podcast. I'm Emilio DiSpirito, and this is season 2, episode 2. We've got our second guest on for the day. We've got a powerhouse guest. I mean, I'm talking she's laughing, but I'm talking the number one agent in Rhode Island. She's with Compass, and she's just made such a great name for herself, such a great career.
Thank you.
And it takes so much to do that. And we want to ask her how. We want to ask her about her brand, what she's doing, because I think it's super important. You're going to get some great takeaways from this. So we've got Greene here
Hello.
with
Hello.
Compass. Welcome,
Hi. I thought we
Kara.
were going to do the fist pump.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Well, you left me hanging
Okay,
before we
sorry.
started. I was like, I can't
Sorry.
have that happen.
Sorry.
So you're
Yeah,
good. You're
I'm
good.
happy to be here.
I'm excited to have you on because I've been watching your career over the years.
Thank you.
Okay. And you're one of a couple handfuls of people here in our marketplace
Yeah.
that have consistently strived through all of the different markets.
Yes, I have.
And there's a lot that goes into that.
Yeah.
So we wanted to talk about owning your space, strategy, solutions, and your signature style.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So, Kara, what does it mean when you say owning your space?
Well, when we were talking about topics, I have been thinking about my success and my brand recently. I think I've gone from a place of maybe a little bit of fear when I first started real estate or failure to switching to more confidence and also kind of relaxing into my success. And that doesn't mean that I'm not working every day, but I think looking at yourself and understanding why you are successful will help you continue to be more successful. So when I've been kind of pondering the question about my brand, I realized that everything I do is intentional. So when I talk about owning your space, when you are lucky enough to get a listing, like you've got to own that listing. And with ownership comes responsibility. And I think a lot
Sure
of
does.
agents don't think about that part of real estate. When you're owning your brand, you're also owning everything you're doing. And it all kind of blends together with being intentional and strategic. And so when I'm out there in the world and I'm meeting with clients, or whether I'm posting something on Instagram or creating an ad, everything connects and everything goes back to my brand, but also it's an actionable thing. It's not just a logo or a motto or even a number, to be quite honest. I think a lot of people rest on their laurels, like I'm this, I'm that, I'm number one. And
Becomes
frankly,
their identity.
yeah. So frankly, this has been a good year, but I don't look at my career that way. You know, next year may not be as good, but if I continue to be intentional and owning my space, then I know that what's made me successful will keep continuing year after year.
That's right. I love what you said about being intentional because,
Yes.
you know, I'm always like, how can I train our advisors? How can I train my team to do this and that? And I look at like the things that I do on a day-to-day basis. And these are things that you're doing and that I'm doing and that other people are doing. And you're like, wow, like that was really strategic. That was really amazing. I need to write this down. And I think we take that for granted sometimes.
We do. And I think, you know, we're talking about when you're owning your brand, you have to have a signature style. So is your brand just that you say you're something, like you just say you're a luxury expert? And what does that even really mean? Right?
So many people just saying things now.
Right. And that actually shouldn't even be an aspiration, because if you look at the most successful agents, they're actually selling in every price point, which is something that I've found to be helpful in a pitch. For example, sometimes I pitch against people who just call themselves luxury experts and they might sell 10 houses in a year and I'm selling 80. So that expertise comes through. But my style is through my brand and also through, and hopefully you follow me on social media,
I do,
my reels, bringing myself into my houses. I don't talk a lot on camera, which is why I don't do a lot of podcasts.
Yeah, but you let the video talk for you.
Yes.
And the marketing.
Yes. I find that selecting music for a house seems so insignificant, but we did that deal together in Lincoln.
Yeah, it's great.
I don't know if you remember the song, but it was Aretha Franklin.
No, I'll have to play it back.
Okay. And I did that because I asked my seller, like, who do you love?
Wow.
What music do you love? And I found a song that just mixed with the house. That's just like one little tiny thing and one small example, but I approach every listing with a very detailed mindset, and I think it comes through.
It sure does.
Thank you.
Because every listing is unique. Every seller is unique. And when you're putting that much care into those kinds of details, you're only going to attract more great people to come to you that say, hey, I want an advisor that cares. Yeah.
And if I was to give, I think a lot of agents who are starting out it's hard. It's a struggle. But what I remember doing is let's say it's my first listing and it's a $250,000 condo. Look in your space. How many people with $250,000 condos are doing beautiful videos? How many are doing aerial? How many are doing multiple videos, like videos that show the neighborhood? How many people are doing postcards sold? I mean, postcards work, by the way.
Oh, very much
People
so.
don't realize
Agreed.
that. So when you have something as amazing as the opportunity to list somebody's house, even if you only have 3 listings a year, if you dig in deep and you do that so much better than everybody else in that space, it doesn't matter that it was 250 because that's how you get business.
That's
so
right.
Most of my business is referral.
And consistency,
Yes.
right? People trust
Yeah.
consistency.
Yep.
And when you're doing this with every single listing,
Yes, it's a lot.
Systematic approach. It's
Yes,
a lot.
It's a lot.
But that's how you become number one.
Well, yeah, I mean, at the moment, yes. But
Yeah.
that's how you become a
You've
great
had,
agent.
several
Whatever number
moments,
you are.
but
Right.
yeah, okay.
What I'm saying, wherever you are in your career, you become better by really hyper focusing on delivering at a level that people are not delivering in. And also hone in an area. Like I would say, obviously I'm known for my business on the East Side, but I look at real estate as relationship based, not just location. So once you're really good at your craft, your clients will say to you, hey, I want to buy a house in South County, or can you list my house in Barrington, or I have a house in Lincoln. So those referrals came by being really good where I was listing, but also feeling confident that you could take it almost like a traveling show. You can take your craft anywhere if it's through a relationship.
Sure can, yeah. The relationship is the trust, and that's the fuel. So let's talk about your referral, like network and referral services. Do you have, like, when you're working with clients, right? If they need something, I would imagine you're the type of agent that's like, I got a guy or I got a girl for that, right?
Yes.
Now let's talk about, how did you build that? How did you select those people to be in there? Is there any process in there? Or are you just like,
No.
No,
I would say I just use people over and over again. And when I use people to help me, I pay them fast and I pay them on Venmo because they know that if they work with Kira, they get paid right away. And then I just have my client pay me, or it's included in my listing fee.
It's seamless.
Yeah. And when I'm pitching, I think a lot of people look at a pitch to get a listing as a sale. I think we're there to solve solutions. And so when you're solutions based, I remember sitting in a pitch. It was one of my first houses I got when I was at Compass. And, my first few months at a new brokerage were a little bit scary. And so that kind of is what started my ability to really see what was in front of me. And I was sitting in the pitch and I looked up and their ceiling was peeling. And I said, well, I'll just have your ceiling painted. And it was like this huge sigh of relief from the seller because she didn't have time. And she said, you really do that for me? And I said, sure. I mean, it took a few $100s and I got the listing.
Well worth it. Yeah. And you provided a solution to the problem. Bigger the problems, the bigger the paycheck. Yeah. And it just is what it is, right?
Well, it's not always that way, but yes.
Yeah, well, you're right. You're right.
Right.
Sometimes we've solved some big problems and didn't get paid for it.
Yes, exactly.
But I don't think that, like high functioning people don't do it just for the financials, right? What is it that drives you to operate at such a high level?
Not being financially driven from the get-go, and just loving my craft. I love what I do. And I think that comes through.
It does.
And I think a lot of people don't realize that when they're opening the door to people and showing them houses, if you're pissy, that comes across. Like if you love your job, that comes across. I mean, I had a sale and I remember I was really upset. This buyer was an hour late. They got stuck in traffic and it ruined my night. I had to cancel my plans. I remember taking a deep breath and opening the door and being like, hi, that person bought the house. So I think my love of what I do is sounds really corny, but it goes over and above the financial aspect. However, finances are why people work. We don't work for free.
That's right.
So when I'm looking at my business, I'm constantly shifting how I work to adopt to real estate and new practices. And for example, recently someone asked me to assess their house and I kind of went overboard and I did this 2-page assessment and then they ghosted me. And so I got the same question from someone 3 days ago and I said, you know what? I need to say that I'm happy to list your house, but this is what I do once you sign a contract. So that might sound very junior or juvenile that I didn't do that prior. But for me, it's about every day making mistakes and learning. So I just kind of think people who do that are successful.
Wow, I like that.
Lack of being perfect and lack of ego.
I love that. And I get to learn from every single person that comes on this program.
Oh, I'm sure you've learned a lot.
And I do. And I get to learn a lot from you too, which is great. And there's a lot of times where I've done the homework for sellers.
Yeah.
And then you go in, you don't get the listing, right? Like you give them all this and they ghost you, or they don't sell, or they go with someone else. They use your numbers and go with the cheaper version.
Yeah.
And
there's a lot that goes into a pitch. And I think it depends on the pitch. I don't know if you want to get into pitching, but
no, we can. Yeah.
If I want that house, I will literally just lay on the floor for it and just hit me with the truck. I'll work for 3 days straight. I recently won a pitch in Bristol for a luxury waterfront property, and I spent 3 days doing a CMA, not only doing the CMA, but analyzing the CMA.
Yep.
And when you put me against, and I don't really know how that pitch went down, but a lot of times I go against somebody who's just giving MLS sheets and not really explaining why the number's the number. So from a pitching standpoint, it goes back to what we were talking about. I will own that. When I was starting to grow, I just couldn't get in the door. Yeah. Then when I got in the door, I was like, if I'm lucky enough to get in the door, I need to win this pitch. Yeah. Because the hardest part, and new agents will tell you this, how do you get in the door, right? And I'm not even telling people that. You got to
fight to get in that door.
But if you get in that door, you cannot lose that pitch.
No.
So, that is something I take very seriously, is the pitch.
How much of your business now is referral based percentage wise? Ballpark.
Probably 25%.
Wow, that surprises me.
I know, me too. Wow. I haven't really thought about it. I'm not the agent who's sitting here with all the systems, just so you know. I am very, as you were saying earlier, ADHD with you.
The best are. Yeah. 100%.
We definitely are.
You know how many are listening right now? That's me.
Yes. I don't know. I feel like very entrepreneurial and very day by day, and I'm working on that. Yeah. But I would say a lot of my listings come from my marketing and advertising. And I think agents need to do more of that. And they don't understand that if you have a really good brand and message, you can get a lot of business through your professionalism, whether it's your ad or a video or how you represented a house. So, maybe it's more than 25, maybe it's 35, but I get I would say the last 2 weeks, every phone call has been, I've heard about you, or I was looking for an agent and your name kept popping up, or it seems like you sell a lot in this area, or I received a postcard. So a lot of it is through my marketing.
The beautiful thing about this business is that there is no one size fits all to success.
Yes, I'm definitely an example of that.
And you could get, right? Me too. And you could get 5-8 different people at a table, and you could ask each one of them, where do you get your business? Where do you get your business? What do you do? You know what I think the only common thread is, though?
What?
Is persistence and being able to take rejection.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah. And also being competitive, not with other agents, but with yourself. I think, my pressure comes from me. And that's the worst kind of pressure. But no one is expecting anything from me. And I think people expected too little from me.
Wow.
Personally.
All right. So expect
There's
more.
There's that little chip.
Expect more. Well, that's great.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. What has been the biggest challenge and the highest point of success so far in your career?
Biggest challenge was after 9 years leaving the brokerage where I grew my career and being a founding agent of Compass Providence. That was a huge challenge. I think I made it more than just myself because I felt somehow I was responsible for other people, and that was a huge weight. And truly all along I wasn't. So I put the weight of the world on me, and that was a very difficult year. I also felt that, Rhode Island is a place where people are used to doing the same things over and over again.
Tell me about it. Yeah.
And I never really fit that. And that's one of the reasons why I went to a different brokerage, a national brokerage, because I felt like I just wasn't fitting in, and I couldn't really explain it. But I just wasn't feeling good about myself and where I was and my relationships. And when I changed all that, there was so much fear that I felt like I was starting over, even though I really had done so well up to that point. It was like everything was new and fresh. And I think when you hit that reset button in your career, there's no better way to figure out who you are, what your difference in the marketplace is, how valuable good people are around you, how you need to appreciate them, and how lucky you are to be successful. I mean, I know everyone says it's not luck. There is some luck. It's mostly hard work. But that was my biggest challenge because I felt like people were judging me. And I think women in general, I mean, I'll just say this, we do feel a little more judged
By
socially.
other women or by men?
By women,
or
by men. I mean, you know,
I feel like women go at it a lot harder.
yes, there's that. And, you know,
And
like,
guys
oh,
were just like, whatever.
right, like she's doing that at her age, or, you know, she's
Good for you.
dancing on TikTok.
get it.
I know,
Yeah.
I know. I'm just saying that, you know, you could be Teflon, but it could still seep through.
Of course.
Yeah, and that was challenging because there was a lot of eyeballs on me where before there weren't. And so, at least I didn't think there were. So that did a little bit of a number on me. And I would say the biggest achievement in my career has honestly been this year. And it's not because of my numbers. It's because, I don't know, I've been told by a few people, like, you seem different. Like, you seem more chill, or you seem happier, or you seem more relaxed. That's come with a lot of work.
Sure. You earned
and
that.
I did earn that. And, you know, I don't think I would be where I am if I didn't go through what I went through. But it just feels good to be good at something. And it feels good to be able to share it. And success doesn't hurt. It feels really nice. So
it can hurt getting there, though.
yeah, it does.
Climbing that mountain.
Yeah, it's like I'm calling this year my Mount Everest year.
Yeah, good.
I mean, not a lot of people get here, and there's a lot of dead bodies at the top.
Yeah.
So, like,
There are.
I'd like to stay alive the next few years. I need to knock on wood.
Yeah.
But I would say I'm feeling like I'm in a really good place, which is probably why when you asked me to do this podcast, I would not have done this 2 years ago. I would have been too negative. I would have felt uncomfortable. I would have felt judged. And to be quite frank, like, I don't really care anymore if people want to judge me. I'm really proud of where I work. I'm proud of what we've done as a company. I'm proud to be more collaborative, like people like you and different brokerages, and just to bring a modern approach to real estate. I think Rhode Island, whether it's Engel & Volkers, which I know we're not bringing brands into this, but whatever brand you work for, you have to fit. You have to feel like you are the right place. And so it's a great feeling.
That's right. That's amazing.
It's a great feeling.
Well, you're doing a fantastic
Thank
job,
you.
and there was a lot of value here in this segment.
I don't know if there was.
Our listeners. Oh, I bet you there was for a lot of people. I took a lot of value out of that.
I tried.
And you're doing great, Kara. So keep up the great work.
Thank you.
I'm looking forward to closing some more transactions with you.
I have some stuff on the market. Let's talk.
Yeah, let's do it. So
Okay.
good stuff.
All right,
Any
thanks,
closing
Emilio.
remarks for our listeners?
That's a big question. I would
Huge
say
question.
junior podcast person here, so it's not easy to get in front of the camera if you're not used to it. I would say my biggest piece of advice, I mean, maybe it is mostly to women listening. I think it's really hard. I've raised 3 kids in this business. I feel like this is such a great business for women in particular, and I think you just got to go for it and not listen to the noise, which is not easy.
Always noise.
And also, the thing I couldn't recommend more is just figuring out who you are and translating that to everything you do, from your listings to how you treat buyers, to how you talk to other agents, to your brand. Like, your signature style in real estate, to me, is what will stand out in the marketplace.
Agreed.
yeah.
Awesome. Perfect stuff. Good stuff. Thank
Okay,
you so
thank
much,
you.
Kara. Kara Greene with Compass. Thank you for joining us this week on the Wealth Architect podcast. This has been one of my favorite episodes. We got to learn from thought leaders in the different fields of the opportunity zone and also in just real estate, somebody who crushes it consistently, somebody who I look up to in this marketplace and beyond, and just some wonderful people. It makes me so thankful for this program, what we're doing. A special thank you to all the people behind the scenes, by the way. Lucas specifically, he's the man. He makes sure that this show goes off without a hitch every time. AJ behind the scenes. doing some of the video editing, and Nora and Casey as well. Thank you so much. And Joe Fazio for all the support over the years. And most importantly, you, our listeners, contributors, and sponsors. Thank you all. God bless you. We'll see you back here on The Wealth Architect. Go make some money.